So, welcome back. Hope you guys had a good week or weekend. And here's our agenda for today. I'm going to start muting people because I'm not sure. It's a little bit loud. Okay. So, today we're going to go through, we're going to finish up our hypothesis test. And then again tonight, we have 8184 due. This mistakenly got closed this morning because I made a mistake, and I will fix that. Someone emailed me, I think, so hopefully I will see that after we get off here and have a chance. I'll go in and change all that to make this due tonight at 11:59, not at midnight this morning. And then Thursday, same thing. You have this due on Thursday, and I'll change those times as well. You're going to have Connect Math 9, Chapter 9, the first one for Chapter 9 due next Tuesday. So you're only going to have 5 days to do that because we're going to go over it on Thursday and it's due on Tuesday, but it's not super long. So I think you guys should be okay with that. And then, here are my office hours for the rest of the semester. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then also 11 to midnight, which hopefully will cut down on some of those panicked emails I get at 11:30 all the time. This first one on Tuesday at 4:15 and the one Thursday at 1 o'clock, those are going to be basically in my 2 o'clock class lecture, so just hop in there. And then the Monday, Wednesday, and the midnight one will be, those are its own, they are their own, these three. Those ones are, if you go under Zoom, under office hours, you'll find the link for those ones. Okay. Good. And again, just a reminder, if you have trouble connecting through the internet, like if I get kind of, choppy and things like that, then use your phone audio when you sign in. And let me know if there's any problems now, now that we've switched over that, because that, for some reason, I don't know why, I don't understand why it makes such a big difference, but it does. It's weird. Maybe it's the way they process it, or maybe it's just that much more, I don't know. Can you drop this class or take it pass, not pass? Absolutely. So again, we're doing XWs, extreme withdrawals, because of COVID-19. You can do it anytime between now and the final, just filling out a form, and you'll get your registration fees back, your tuition fees back, and then it will not count on your record. So I don't think it'll even show up on your transcript, I think, and it won't count as one of your attempts. Also, you can take it pass, not pass. However, I'm not sure your transferring institution will take it. So in other words, if you're a nursing major, and a lot of you guys are nursing majors, I don't know if your nursing college will take it or won't take it if it's pass, not pass. I don't know if they need it to be for a grade. So if you're thinking of some colleges for nursing, email me and I can check them out. I just don't know even where to look for that or what to think about. If it's a CSU or USC, CSU or UC, then they will accept them this semester as long as it's not a class in your major. And again, more information on those are in the announcements. Also on assignments, I'm being a lot more lax on assignments. Do them. Connect Math, I'm only subtracting 20% if they're late instead of 50%. And then also, if you haven't gotten in these quizzes and notes that you're supposed to upload into Canvas under assignments, get those done. Right, but I'm giving you a lot of leeway there. I'm giving you kind of a week to get those up there. If it's more than a week, then I'm going to start taking off some points off of them. But you need to get those in because your participation grade, 15% of your grade or 14%, something like that, is participation, and 60% of that is uploading these quizzes and notes we're doing in class. So make sure you do those. Being here is 4 points out of 10, and the other 6 out of 10 points is uploading those. So let's go and hop in. For today, we're going to talk about finding the critical value. So for a t-distribution, you're going to find your critical value by using the t-table. You're going to look it up. Critical values, we always look those up. So the next question is, when do you use a t-table? When would I use a t-table as opposed to a z-table? So when is that, guys? Answer me. Tell me, chat it or say it. When do I use a t-distribution?
When you're trying to find the mean.
Yep, exactly. So when we're doing means. So in other words, you can remember mean Mr. T as a way to remember that, because even though he's not mean, he looks mean. So it's just a way of remembering it. For mean, you're going to use a t-table, mean Mr. T. So t-distributions are when we have means. Whenever you have a mean, you're going to use a t-table. And for that, you're going to look it up using the correct number of tails. If it's two-tailed, then use a two-tailed one. If it's right or left-tailed, that counts as one tail. And then remember, degrees of freedom is n minus 1. And then last but not least, make the sign correct. If it's right-tailed, then it's positive. If it's left-tailed, your critical value should be negative, because remember, all z-scores that are on the left side should be negative z-scores. They're less than the mean, below the mean. For a z-distribution, again, you're going to use your t-table, but you're going to use the very last row, because the last row of your t-table is a z-table when degrees of freedom is infinity. That's your z-table, the last row of your t-table. So if you look at your t-table, if you go all the way down, these are all degrees of freedom. The very last row, this row down here, that is a z-table. It's the important things we need from the z-table. We only need a handful of numbers from there for these tests, because we only have a few possible values we're going to be using for our alpha. So our critical value will only have a handful of options. When do I use the z-table? You guys tell me, when do we use the z-table? Yep, proportions. So proportions. So that would be, remember, whenever we have a proportion, and you might remember easy peasy will help you remember that. Proportion z, pz, proportion z-table. So that's kind of just the way of remembering it. So proportions use z-distribution, and again, right-tailed make it positive, left-tailed will make it negative. If it's two-tailed, you should have one of each. You should have positive and negative if it's two-tailed. All right, so then we're going to talk about our stat test. So again, remember, the stat test is your sample's z-score. These other things, critical values, have nothing to do with the sample. They're not about the sample at all. They're part of the problem. It's based entirely upon alpha. It's part of the setup. So this is the z-score for your problem, kind of the gold standard you're comparing to. And then the z-score for your sample is what you'll compare to your critical value. So the test set is your sample's z-score. How do you find it? You take your sample, whatever you get from your sample proportion or your sample mean, and you subtract the population proportion or the population mean. These guys, population proportion and mean, these are from your claim. So whatever you get in the claim, that's where this part comes from. That was kind of weird looking. Let me just do that less confusingly. From your claim. This part over here, the sample one, this is from your sample. Maybe if I move the claim up a little bit, I'll make it easier to draw. All right, at any rate, so again, that's from the sample. This part here, these are from your claim. That's how you find those numbers. People get confused about that all the time. Whatever you have in your claim, that's your mu or your p naught. Your sample is your x bar or your p hat, whatever you get from the sample, and then divided by s over square root of n, or your standard deviation over square root of n. Okay. Here again is the hypothesis test steps. If you weren't here last class, you should take a picture of this quickly because it will be going away soon, and this is the part you should be filling out in the front page of your Chapter 8B notes. So first thing you do is you're going to find your H naught and your H1, figure out which one's the claim. Remember that if H naught's your claim, you're going to be using the word reject for your summary. If H1 is your claim, you're going to be using the word support for your summary. Because so step one affects your summary a little bit there. And then you're going to find the critical value and draw a picture. The critical value is from your t-table. And then you're going to draw a picture. So you're going to draw your little thing like that, put in your critical value, shade, shade, and then write in what your critical value amount is. Step 3, you're going to find the test stat, your sample's z-score, and you're going to put it in. If it's over here, in step 4, it's in the rejection region, right? This is the rejection region. This is the guilty region over here. This is the non-rejection region, the not enough evidence region, the non-guilty region. So if you're over here, then they're guilty, and you're going to reject H0. If they were over here, then they're not guilty, and you're not going to reject H0. And then step 5 is all about your summarizing results for your claim. So if they're guilty, then you had enough evidence. If they're not guilty, it's because you did not have enough evidence, and then to either support or reject your claim, depending on which one your claim was, and then write down what your claim is. So we'll go ahead and do lab problem 3. This is going to be kind of hard to do since it's okay, we'll try it. Okay, so lab problem 3. So let's figure out what we've got here. Amanda, can you go ahead and read, just starting with right here, just go ahead and read this for us.
The percentage of physicians who are women is 27.9%, and a survey of physicians employed by a large university health system, 45 of 120 randomly selected physicians were women. Is there sufficient evidence at the 0.05 level of significance to conclude that the proportion of women physicians at the university healthcare system exceeds 27.9%?
Perfect. Okay, so first of all, this statement, the percentage of physicians who are women is 29.7%. This is not a claim. There's no claim in here. This is just a statement. So don't get thrown off in that. This is just a statement, not a claim. So then let's take a look at what we have next. The claim, if you want to look at it, is down here. Is there evidence to conclude that it exceeds 27.9%? This is your claim. That's the claim right here. Right? Evidence to conclude, concluding, to claim, to conclude. So your claim is there. Let's see what else we got. Survey. Survey. This is your sample. So this is the sample part. Then we have 25 out of 120 were women. Okay, good. So this is my sample, which means that this is my sample size. This is my N. And then, is this a proportion or a mean? How do I find out if it's proportion or a mean? What is it, guys? Proportion or mean?
Proportion.
Proportion.
Is it a mean?
No, it's a proportion. There's 3 ways of telling it's a proportion. Think of one of them. Let's hear one of the ways of telling it's a proportion. There are 3 different ways you guys can tell. What's one?
Percentages.
Yeah, it's a percent. So the first thing is it's a percentage, right? Or you can say it's a fraction, 25 out of 120. So that's the first way. What's another way? It's a percentage.
The mean average mean word is not given, it means it's a proportion.
Exactly. 25 out of 120. Perfect. So that's the other really good way of telling, which is that it doesn't say, come on, don't slow me down here, guys. Darn it. It does not say, mean or average. So it's another good way of knowing. Super, super, super useful way of knowing that it is a, so where to put this? Maybe, can you guys see that if I put it over there? Does not say mean or average. So it's the other good way of knowing. All right, so then my question is, And then the other way of knowing is that it actually says proportion. It literally says proportion right here. That's the other way. Okay, great. So we got to go with step 1, which is so this is what we did at the end of last class, and I said I promised we'd go over it this class. So that's what we're doing. We're going over it. So my H naught is going to be always equals. So here it's going to be its proportion. So it's going to be P equals 0.279. Remember, this is whatever is in your claim. Your claim is that it exceeds 27.9%, so that's what goes in here. And don't forget, don't do this. People all the time want to say that H naught equals 0.279, and that's not true. I'm not even sure what that looked like. If you were looking at someone was doing a hypothesis, like Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus went out to sail to prove is flat. Did he go out to prove is flat? No, what is flat? The world is flat. So it should be something equals 0.279. What equals 0.279? P does. So make sure you have something in there. Is that my claim? No. And then we have H1, which is that since H naught's not my claim, then H1 has to become my claim. P exceeds greater than 0.279. That's my claim. So I'm going to be using the word support later on. This is important. It's minor, but will be super helpful for you later. So here's my first step. Second step, I'm going to take a look at my critical value. So critical value, 0.05. So I'm going to draw my little picture here. It exceeds, so it's going to be on the right side. And it's going to be a proportion. So I'm going to pull out my handy-dandy T-table and say, okay, proportion, that's going to be a Z-table, easy peasy. And 0.05 one-tailed, it's going to be right here. Slide all the way down. 1.645, 1.65 if I round. So my critical value is going to be 1.65. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, let's just not go there. My critical value is 1.65. And again, I'm going to write it in here. Critical value equals 1.65 because this is a proportion. So I'm going to use a Z-table. And my alpha is 0.05. We got that right here. And then we're going to go for step 3. P is finding my test stat. So my test stat is equal to my P hat minus my P naught, or just regular P, divided by the square root of P Q over N. All right, so my P hat is what I get from my sample. What was my sample? 45 out of 20. So that's going to be 0.375. And then again, P, my P naught of my P is whatever is in my claim. So it's going to be 0.279. Can you guys hear me okay? Is it hard to hear me? And then we're going to divide by the square root of 0.279 times 0.721 over, what's my N? 120? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so what did you guys get for your test stat? positive. 2.34? Okay, great. I'll go with that one. 2.34.
2.34.
Great. 2.34. So it's going to be way out here somewhere. That's my test stat. 2.34. So, step 4, you can tell I'm totally in the rejection range, right? I'm way, way, way out there. So step 4 is going to be reject H naught. I got something unusual. That's the whole idea. Did you get something unusual or not? This out here is the unusual area. We expect something right around here. If you get something over here, it's unusual. Unusual, you reject. So we're going to reject H naught. Reject H naught. It's unusual. And as long as, okay, so I'm going to say this one time. As long as you have a picture clearly showing the shaded area and the test stat being in the shaded area, then you do not have to say why. If you don't have the picture, you're going to say because the test stat is further away from the mean than the critical value, right? Something like that. And then the last step, step 5, is summarizing for your claim. So it's all about the claim. Step 4 is all about H naught. The claim doesn't talk, we don't talk about the claim here, and we don't talk about H naught here. Step 4 is just reject or don't reject H naught. Step 5, no H naught at all. It's all about the claim. So, did I have enough evidence or not? Let's see. My claim was, I rejected H naught. I was way over here, which means he's guilty. If he's way out here in this area, he's in the guilty area. If he's guilty, that means we had enough evidence. So this is enough evidence to, and then comes the next question. Was my claim H1 or H naught? My claim was H1, so rejecting H naught helps my claim, so that supports my claim. Support claim that, I don't know what comes next, that proportion of, what are these things? Is it nurses? Women physicians. Whoops.
The proportion of women physicians is greater.
Physicians at university exceeds, let's put exceeds, 27.9%. Okay, good. So that will work.
Yeah.
Good. All right, perfect. So that is our problem from last class. You should make sure that you have it down and understand it. And then I'm going to give you guys another 10 minutes to go back into your rooms and go through, the problems with each other. Maybe another 15 minutes. Wait, how long do you guys think you need? 10 minutes? 15 minutes? Okay. 10? Okay, great. So go in there and then around 8:25, I'll let you guys go on break for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back here at 8:35. So go ahead and go back to your breakout rooms. Let me go ahead and start up the breakout rooms again, and hop in there, and then we'll come back and go over these when you get back.